What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Mystic Rick's Crypto Picks. I am your host, Mystic Rick, and today we're going to discuss a few of my trading methods. And I hope that you guys enjoy the content. And please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button for the YouTube algorithm. And please make sure to share it to your social media content, minus TikTok, of course, because TikTok just banned the sharing of any type of crypto based posts. So, welcome in everybody, and please feel free to comment if you have any um, thing you'd like me to look over, or you have any gripes, moans, concerns, complaints. So, just taking a overall brief look at the market, we have Bitcoin currently coming in at 33.7, Ethereum at 21.14, Binance at 3.13, Cardano at $1.33. XRP up over the 24-hour period at 62 cents. And of course, Dogecoin still catching those hands at 21 cents. DOT is actually down to $15.31. And Uniswap's down as well at $20.59. Now, with that being said, um, for those of you who are in here, how are you doing today? Joey, what's finally going on? What's finally going on? Derek, what's up, brother? Where can you get your short position in? So I'm actually gonna show you guys something interesting, Joey, and talk about how do I catch some of these gains. So let me turn off some of this stuff here because it can be blinding. So I'm gonna show you guys something pretty neat here. Okay, so remember when I showed you guys the phenomenon that was happening the other day, and I'll actually pull it back up so you guys can see it. Okay, remember when I discussed this phenomenon and I said how rare it was for this to happen in price action when you have two symmetrical triangles forming that both drop in from the bottoms, and the only thing that separates them is one outlier, right? Not weeks and weeks of outliers, just one simple outlier, and jumps right to the next one, followed by a symmetrical triangle RSI, right? Lower highs, higher lows, lower highs, higher lows, lower highs, higher lows. Okay, this is a phenomenon known to cause bearish divergence after the second um, symmetrical triangle. Now, the reason why I drew the green arrow is because this is all happening during a time where people try to manipulate the market, if that makes sense, right? So up is always a possibility, but down is the desired direction of the pattern. Okay. Now, if you take a look at what happened when Bitcoin broke that formation, okay, um, when Bitcoin broke that formation, it was right here. Okay, right here is when it broke it. And you can look at that in a photo. Right here is when it broke it. Okay. So, um, so what happens is this was the time to take the trade, right? When it broke down out of that box or the symmetrical triangle. And then down here was the time to get out. Okay. When you've seen all of this action happening below the 30 for RSI on the hourly. Okay. And we can switch it up. We can look at this on the 4 hour. Okay, so you guys can see it more clearly. All right, so that was that breakdown. Okay, that was the time to get out or get in. This was the time to get out. Okay, you see how you have that double attempt to come down on RSI and then it skyrockets. Okay, so there was your time to get out. Now, what you're seeing on all these lines that I've drawn here, okay, it might look like throw up to some, but trust me, it makes sense. Now, these are what I call trading the trend. All right, so this is Mystic Rick's trading the trend. there is no really correct way to put the line. It just depends on what makes you comfortable, right? There is no correct way. Some people trade at the bottom, some people trade at the body of the candle. It just depends on where you want. Sometimes I use the body and the wick. Okay? So um when it drops below a trend line I make that's red, okay, that's my indication to go short after confirmation. When it goes in a direction above my green line, that's an indication after confirmation to go long. So for instance, if you look right here, right, this is a clearly defined trend, right? I wouldn't use stuff like this to make a trend, okay? These are outliers and they're very dangerous. What I mean outlier is it's a head fake, right? So this is your trend, okay? That's your true trend. This is a true trend. This is an outlier from the trend. So when you guys hear me say the term outlier, that's what I mean. Okay? It's something that's not part of the true trend. And they're very hard to trade. Okay? So the right thing to do would have been, if you were in a long here, to not get out here, to stay in it until the head fake ended. Okay? Because if you would have got out here, you would have lost all the money from the head fake, okay? And then have gotten out sometime in here, okay? So on this trend, as soon as it broke and confirmed the break, that was the time to get in the short. You make all these juicy profits, okay? And when that trend was broken, that would have been the time to get out, okay? And go into um, a long. So what I mean by that is, oh, undo that. So what I mean by that is this. Okay. So right in there, or you could even move it here if you want, right? Because there you go. Okay. And I will change that to green for you guys, and we'll make it 2 point. Okay. So here was the time to end your short, or excuse me, get in your short. This was the time to get out and get into the long. Okay, so it goes beyond the red, that is indication to start your short. Goes beyond the green, that's your indication to get out and go into your long. Okay, you ride this long up, the trend broke, you get out and go into a short. And look at all that juicy trade you would have made. Okay, again, you could have drawn a trend here in green. This is the area would have been the time to get out and go short. Okay, now what you're seeing with the current pattern, okay, you can also use RSI, right? So these trend lines are not all I use, okay? I also wait until I see some sort of a confirmation in RSI. Now the current trade I'm in, right, I have my trend line stemming all the way back here to 14 June, right? And so what I did with it is, okay, I have my high here, I have my lower high here, my lower high here, my lower high here. It's my trend. I was in my long, right? I rode it up, and when I got a bounce right, I mean, look at it, guys. It doesn't get any better than the trend I drew. Look at that, right off the line. Is That's where the rejection happened, and so I went short. Now, because the market isn't really moving that much, right? You're not making super sized, juicy trades, okay? But if you notice on the 4 hour, RSI just turned down. Now, does that mean it won't turn back around? No, it doesn't. But it's looking like the downward trajectory is where it wants to go. Um, and to show you guys, right? You can see right here, I am in a trade. I would not lie to you guys. And if you look at my entry price, 33,860. So this is right here where I got in. Okay. Now I let it bounce, and once it came down, okay, this is the 4 hourly, which means on the hourly is where I got my confirmation. That makes sense to you guys? Okay, so if you look at my so 33,860 happened on this candle right here. Okay, so I got my rejection and then my confirmation. That's where I got in. Okay, you always need a confirmation. Is that helping out? Um, there's possibility of relief rally, say up to 42K, and then immediate free fall. Yes, there's always possibilities for relief rallies. However, this is the thing with relief rallies. After getting so low, okay, every time a relief rally dumps farther down, it has to work that much harder to get back up to that price range, okay? Because a newer, lower zone creates another it creates another resistance line. Yes, this is live. This is live. So a lower zone creates that much more difficulty for the next relief rally. So I mean, 50K is possible if there's enough market push and people willing to buy it and sell it at 50. Okay. So what I mean by that is we'll have to go out to the daily for this. Okay. We'll have to go out to the daily for this. All right. This right here is a relief rally to retest all-time high. Okay. It could not meet the last level of support. It barely missed it. But that level of support then became a ceiling of resistance. Now it dropped lower. We had a relief rally. But look at this over here, okay? Remember, previous resistance can also be future resistance, just as previous support can be future resistance. Next time, relief rally, couldn't get as high. Relief rally, still ran into another ceiling. Even though it got to 41, okay, I want you to look at that key level, okay? Look at where the ceiling got met, right in this same bubble from the front side of the bull run. The support you guys are seeing on these bounces, the 30K, the 28K, it is previous support from the front side of the bull run. Okay? Because those are key areas over here where there was lots of volume over here. Does that help? This is the thing. You can't really compare all of the fundamentals of the structure from previous bull runs when it comes to reaching certain percentages or reaching certain targets. And here's why. Let's go back to 2018, right? I'm gonna break it down to you as of why. Okay. If we take this bull run right here, okay, you need to watch my video on that. What was different about all of this? Okay. For one, stable coins weren't a thing. Okay. That's one. Oops, that looked like an ugly one. Okay. For two, everything was paired to Bitcoin. If you wanted to get to altcoins, you needed Bitcoin. For three, there we go. DEXs weren't a thing. Okay. 4, most of this market is retail investment. 5, you didn't have the corruption that you have here. Okay, so there's a lot of different fundamentals in terms of how price is moving in this bull run that didn't exist in this bull run. Okay, so the reason why altcoins are going so parabolic this time, and the um what do you call it? The reason why the blow off top happened in the altcoins and not Bitcoin is because this time around you didn't need Bitcoin to get to them. Okay, so this blow off top is from people purchasing BTC to swap it for altcoins. The massive crash after it is because after all the buying into BTC and pushing it into altcoins were going up as Bitcoin was coming down. Okay? One of these can't happen without the other if one is being traded for the other. Okay? If the other one is skyrocketing, one's going to be coming down if it's the one using liquidity. But guess what? You don't need Bitcoin liquidity anymore to get the altcoins. You can use stablecoin. You can use Ethereum. So relief rallies, don't expect them to look like they have in the past, where a relief rally is just a straight spike. Okay? A relief rally is any market attempt to go back up to all-time highs. And it's called a relief rally for a reason. Okay, it's called a relief rally because it is a failed attempt. Okay, this was a failed attempt to go back to 50. These were failed attempts to try to get back to 40. Okay, this was a failed attempt to reset us to set a new all-time high. Just dropping some knowledge on you guys here. 200 moving average. Let me remove these drawings out of here. Um, well, I'd have to check that out in here because I'm currently using. Okay, so is this the one that everybody was talking about it coming up and attempting to retest it? I mean, I've seen several influencers talking about the retest of the 200-day because that's what it historically has done. It's historically come up and retested the 200. I can tell you right now, um, if the S&P has its next correction, which it looks like one is coming soon, I can tell you right now, a retest of the 200 will not be happening. Yes, Joey. So that's why you saw altcoins, some of them pumping 200 and 300 and 500,000%, is because you didn't need Bitcoin to get to them. Okay. what caused a Bitcoin blow off top in the past is because in order to get to altcoins, the only thing that got you there was Bitcoin. So ETH had a pairing back then, but nothing was paired to it yet because decentralized exchanges weren't a thing, right? So if I wanted $10,000 of Chainlink in the last bull run, I had to first purchase $10,000 of Bitcoin and then sell it for $10,000 of Chainlink. Bitcoin drops and alts drop as a consequence to it because what most people do is they use Bitcoin as the indicator, right? That everyone has that cultural thought that Bitcoin is the king of crypto. And so we all naturally do it. And so it's a chain effect, right? If you knew Bitcoin was about to crash by $10,000 and you know that everybody's going to freak out and sell their alts, what are you going to do? You're going to sell your alts. And so it's a chain effect, right? And it's an accordion effect. Yeah, it's a shame, man. And yes, if the market fall, it would be a nasty parabolic crash. Um, and yes, Chaco, I hope I'm not saying it wrong. Um, yes, Bitcoin is in striking range to retest the 200. Okay, it is. However, it currently being under the 21 week is not a good look, right? Typically in any market, once you go below the 21 week, it's kind of lights out from there, at least temporarily, right? What makes this market different is it cycles faster. Okay, it cycles faster because it's not based on a company, right? When you buy a stock, that stock's performance is as good as its goods and services. But in crypto, right, it's not always off goods and services. Because think about it this way: what goods and services did Dogecoin provide to help it pump to 75 cents? Nothing. What did Shiba provide? Nothing. Okay. What did Cardano provide? Nothing yet. Okay. Cardano pumped over speculation of its fundamentals. All right. Does that make sense to everybody? Now going back to look at this, right? And I want to go back to um I'm gonna go back to my hourly and I'm gonna draw out a live trend for you guys on the hourly. You see how on the hourly, RSI um, reached 69 peak. Okay, remember my green line here is the 30, the center is the 50, and the top is the 70. So it peaked and tried to double peak at 69 and at 59. Indication it was going down. Okay, that's bearish divergence. So what I'm looking for here is enough action to set a trend. Okay, I don't have enough action here yet on the hourly to set a trend. Now, of course, I can go to a lower time frame to try to find a trend, but there's still not really enough data there yet. So what I'll do instead of a trend line, I'll make a ray. Okay, I'll make a ray about like this, and then I'll move it up. Okay, and then I'll turn it green so I know just in my head if it breaks this trend, then I need to close my short, right? Right now, what it's shown is that this is the desired trend path, at least to retest Sorry, guys. Ah, to retest this level, and then if it can go beyond that, there's a lot of confluence in here. I'd expect it to test that level. Okay, so we could also see it. So it's basically tested this, right? And it bounced right off of it. Okay, so these are key levels that I'd watch out for to see if it makes another attempt to go through and come down to, under 33,450, or if that was the end. So the reason why I didn't exit my short here is because there was no break in trend. And we're all the way down on the 30-minute, right? There was no break in trend. Okay, and I got in way up um on this candle. So I'm not much in the profit, but I'm not in the red either, if that makes sense. So what I'm looking for is, as we start to print more candles, is it going to meet resistance off this line and dip farther? Okay, because every time the line is resistance, it'll dip. Okay, it dips like right here. It met resistance and dipped, met resistance and dipped. If it breaks through, which hopefully it's down here, because the farther it goes, right, the farther it's going away from my entry price. And then once it breaks through, okay, not hit it, but breaks through it, that is an indication for me to just get out of the trade. Okay. Yes, technically you could wait for another candle confirmation through, but what happens if that it's one of these? Oh goodness gracious, that was ugly. Um, where is it? What happens when it's one of these candles, right? What happens when it's one of those and goes right past your entry? Kind of like over here, right? Hey Joseph, good morning. Good morning. How you guys doing over in Europe right now? So again, for those of you just coming in, I showed you what caused um this this breakdown right here. Okay, it was because of the phenomenon that formed of a double symmetrical triangle followed by a symmetrical triangle RSI. Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. This is a macro bearish divergence pattern. And what it's doing right now is attempting to retest the Fibonacci levels. Okay. But it has already met resistance. And so as soon as it broke down, this is the direction it went. Okay. Now um, oh, thank you, Joseph. The reason I mentioned the SPX, and yeah, everybody's looking at it right now, and and Ryan Matta is definitely the guy who helped put people on to, like, hey, this is what's going on with the S&P. Okay, um, look at all these gaps it's been creating. Okay, and this gap will get revisited. Okay, this gap will get revisited, right? And look the correction we had in 15 June, right? It fell. Let's move this up. It fell 2.19%. Okay, that's how much it dropped 15 June. Well, if you look at what happened to Bitcoin on 15 June, look at how far Bitcoin fell. 30% over the course of from the 15th to the 22nd. So over a week, okay? Over a week, it fell 30%. And that was just a 2% drop. So imagine if it fell 2% right now. Okay? A 30% drop. A 30% drop from from current price would put us at $23,000. And because there's no support at $23,000, it would likely bomb down to 22. And the reason why I say that is we're getting into areas where, okay, crashes from here could find support over here. Okay, crashes from here could find support over here. We're still on a macro downtrend. And as we keep meeting resistance, and what I mean by that macro downtrend, it's clearly there for you guys to see, right? We're still on a macro downtrend. And so as we keep meeting resistance and getting farther, farther, farther down, this where is the icon? There we go. This is an outlier. Okay, that's an outlier because it head faked and went right back to the same pattern. Okay, that's how you know it's an outlier. It's typically caused by a manipulation to the upside, just like an outlier to the downside. Okay, just like this one is an attempt to manipulate it to the downside. Okay, but this is the thing, just like these candles, the faster it plummets, the faster it goes back up. The faster it skyrockets, the faster it comes back down. That's indicated here. Okay, that's indicated here. That's indicated here. All right. This is why when people say, oh, I need to crash right now. Well, for what? So it can come right back up. You want it to naturally get there. Okay. You want the candle bodies to be there, not the wicks. But we're starting to get into a zone where, okay, we've already come and tested this area, right? We tested this, we tested this, we've tested this, we've tested this. Okay, we have another huge gap before we test again, and then another huge gap before we start to test again. Okay, so the thinner the support region, the more opportunity for a price to just go right through it. And if we have a great reset, um, meaning like like 10 to 30% correction on the in the Dow, the S&P, just the overall global market, you could. That is the one scenario that would take Bitcoin back below $10,000. Which I mean, we're we're not that far away from it. So that was just something important um, that I wanted to point out to everybody to pay attention to. Okay. Um, Again, I've shown you guys today how to use the Mystic Rig trend line. Okay. So here in the 4 hourly, I have my rejection. Okay. It's actually, you can see it better on the hour. Okay, there it is. Okay, I have my rejection, and then I have my, here we can move that in tighter. Oops, there we go. Okay, and now I'm watching it. Okay, the when it crosses above this green line is when I will close my short and potentially go long. I'll go long after a confirmation candle. So I'll close the short on the break, the body break of it. I'll open a long on the confirmation of it. Okay, and I can show you guys the same thing. We can look at the same thing over here. Okay, right? If I drew my trend with the ray and I said, okay, that's my trend. Okay, I change them from green to red. Red means if it goes below, I go short. Okay, so here's the ladder, bounce, bounce, bounce. When it got here, I would have closed my long. Here is where I would have opened a short. It didn't give you much to trade here, okay? Round belly formation, which means it's gonna go back up, but it didn't give you much to trade here, okay? So, I mean, you only would have gotten 35.2 down to 32.7. So, I mean, you still could have made some juicy profits, right? But not the same as basically like this formation here. Okay, again, if I want to draw a line saying, okay, what am I going to get out of that short? See, this one doesn't really have wicks, so you kind of have to just use body or make your own trend line where you feel comfortable. Okay, so right here is where I would have gotten out of the short and potentially went long if I wanted to. And then I just keep going with those patterns. Okay, so this one here had some kind of jacked up candles, so you can kind of just, like I said, figure out what trend line works for you because it's your trade, it's nobody else's. Right here is when I would have gotten out of my long and went short. Same thing here, okay? This is a beautiful, beautiful setup right here, okay? You don't have much. This one kind of just stair climbed quick. It didn't give you much of a trend line to make. But again, you could still use the bodies, okay? You don't have to wait on wicks. It is your trading, but you have to make sure that it is a verifiable strategy that's going to work, okay? Don't just go drawing Mickey Mouse and Batman symbols and be like, oh, okay, when it hits the eyeball or the ear of Mickey Mouse, that's when I'm going to trade. Okay, it has to be a verifiable strategy that works. Now, this is where I would have closed my long, opened my short, and rode this beautiful action all the way down. Okay? Again, it really didn't give you any wicks. Okay? It didn't give you any wicks. So, what you would have had to do is take your highest peak. Okay? Find some common ground where you've seen some sort of bounces off of a trend, which would have been right here for me. This is an outlier. Remember, we talked about those. Try to find a common ground of bouncing. That's your trend. Okay? Instead of trying to find the wicks. And this is where I would have closed my short. And if I wanted to go long, that's where I would have opened my long. Is this making sense for everybody? Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I wanted to make sure that and this isn't my only strategy, right? I do trade off of divergences. Okay. I don't always use this method, or sometimes I use a combination. I'll use my trend line combined with divergence. Or sometimes you have what's called that gamble trade, right? I've seen RSI clearly peak, come down, and peak again above the 70. Open a short. Okay. I've seen RSI come down, come up, and back down under the 30. Open a long, ride it up, close it out. Okay. I would have closed it out when it came above the 50. And as soon as that RSI would have started turning, I would have closed it. Right here off this double top, I would have closed it. Same with down here. Okay. RSI came down on the 4 hourly. Okay. This is huge when you see this on the 4 hourly. On the hourly, not so much, right? It could just be a pump for the next hour. But these are 4 hour candles. So this action lasted from June 8th until peaking on June 10th. So 2 days worth of pumping, right? So when I seen it come down, come up, get rejected off of the 30, and come back below it to 24, boom, that's where I would have opened the long. So that's how I would trade a divergence or a peak or a peak RSI indication. Okay. Or I use the RSI to kind of give me a confirmation. Okay. I have my trend. My trend has been broken. What does it look like on RSI? I'm setting higher highs on RSI. Okay. Go long. Or excuse me. Yes. Go long. Right. I'm here. I'm setting higher highs. But my RSI has been having this funky action and then peaks up here as it starts to turn and goes down. It goes right into my broken trend. RSI is coming down and my trend has been broken. Close the long. Hey Abdul, what's going on? What's going on? Hey Seuss, what's going on? Do you hold any coins disregarding downward price movement in the hope that in the long term, say 3 to 5 years, they might be 50 to 100x? Yes, and I actually spoke on that the other day, right? Everybody looks, oh well, I'm not gonna get in this coin because it's it's 5 cents right now. It didn't do anything in the bull run. Well, go back to my prison theory, okay? What happens when someone goes to prison? Do they instantly get respect? No, they have to earn it, right? You don't get to go to the yard and just think that everybody's just gonna just, what up, Mystic Rick? What's going on, homie? Yo, get out his way, let him have the bench. Or during chow time, yo, don't touch his cornbread. No, right? I'm not gonna get respect in the yard. I have to do my time, okay? So look at what happened with Chainlink. It came out during the last bull run. Okay. But who was looking at it when it was at 12 cents, 13 cents? Then this bull run over $50. It did its time. So you have a lot of projects out there right now that are either under a penny, right? Or 5 cents, 10 cents, 50 cents. That might well be couple or dozens of dollars in the next bull run. Yeah, Joseph. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, thank you, Abdul. I really appreciate you. So, just because a coin didn't pump this bull run doesn't mean it won't pump in the next one. Okay. Why wait till it's $2 if you can get it at 15 cents? Okay. If it doesn't pump higher than, let's say, 30 cents, then what have you lost? Right? What have you lost? Most of these projects that make lots of money, right? If you would have gotten Cardano at 5 cents or a penny, right? But who wanted to buy it when it was a penny? Nobody. People didn't want to buy it till it was 40 cents, 60 cents, 80 cents, a dollar, right? It's just like who was thinking of Dogecoin when it was 0.002 of a dollar? Nobody. I would just personally not get in a project where someone, 12 people own, um, over half of the supply. It's just not that smart of a move because all it takes is one of them to literally wreck the price. Yes, I've heard about Pulse. I'm pretty sure Pulse has something to do with the hex chain, if that's correct. Chaco says I bought a lot of Luna, Fed AVAX, 88, etc., and locked them in my ledger. Don't get upset anymore if the price is going to 80% more. Yeah, I mean, look, if they went down in the short term, they're gonna go back up in the long term. They are solid projects that will go up. Okay, and that's another thing. A lot of people get caught up in just having diamond hands on everything. Like, I'm sorry, if you have diamond hands on a meme coin, you are just asking to get wrecked. If you have diamond hands on a coin that's like, 13,000th on the list, you are asking to get wrecked. You just as I spoke the other day, I am DCAing into Solanium. Solanium, actually, outside of Solana, has the largest community on the Solana ecosystem. And because it's new, a lot of people are ignoring it when it is very cheap. And what do you see happen? Right? What do you see happen every single time? Oh man, I wish I would have bought it when it was, 25 cents and now it's, $12, $15, right? I wish I would have bought it at a penny. Now it's $1.50. Yeah, and it's verified, right? It's Abdul, it's verified. It's not like it's a new community where there's only like, 500 people trying to pump it. No, go to Twitter and look at the community for Slim. Okay. Solanium has a huge community. And matter of fact, I'll show you from when I made the video, right? Um, I'll show you the size of the Solanium community. Okay. The Solanium has 619,000 wallets, and um, that was back May 31st. Okay. Look at all these other great projects: Radium, Media, Serum Network. I'm sure you've guys heard of these. Step Finance. Okay. Don't even have half of the wallets that Solanium has. Okay. And what is this? This are people who are retail investors in it, who are slowly accumulating and will be the slim whales down the road. That makes sense? Here's their Twitter page: 162,000 followers. And they joined in March. Okay. And here's the ecosystem. Okay. It falls under the launch pads. It is a fundraiser and staking launch pad. Okay. And Soul Starter is a great project too. They're both similar to Polka Starter. And think about this. Look at how many projects are in the Solana ecosystem, including Chainlink. Okay. For those who didn't know that, Chainlink is an oracle in the Solana ecosystem, and including Waves and Phantom and the Graph. Okay, these are projects that are great projects. A lot of people know about. Okay, They aren't just, just came out of the woodworks. They're very solid projects. And Solanium is outweighing them. And it's just flying under the radar. I mean, literally flying under the radar, just like Chainlink did. It flew under the radar. Mm-hmm. Yep. I guess I just need to buy more if it lose 80%. Yeah, if it goes down to 80%, DCA in and put more in your wallet. Right? You just DCA in and put more in your wallet. Look, I'm stacking I'm stacking Solanium right now. Okay? I'm stacking Solanium right now. And if I refresh price, okay, I'm DCAing into it already. Okay, the same with Cardano, the same with Bitcoin, same with Binance, Nano, Cartesi, which last I checked was 74% off already from its all-time high. Um, AT Finance is 83% off, and it's another project that I've been slowly DCing into. I won't put much into it just because I need to see more from it first, but it is a solid project. Card Starter, 80% off. You bet your ass I'm DCAing into it. You bet your ass I'm DCAing into it. Dex Kit, AMP, okay? I already dumped my baby Doge profits. I got in, made some profits, got out. So I hope what I showed everyone today here um, makes sense, okay, of how I use my trends by themselves, how I trade off of pure RSI by itself, and how I use a combination of both, right? And what do I mean by both? Okay, the trend broke. The RSI is confirming my trend break. Go short. Okay, my trend broke. RSI is confirming my trend break. Go long. Same with here. Okay, when we had this nasty dump, my trend broke. It broke here. Okay, RSI is confirming it. Not only 4 hourly. Well, it is. It goes below the halfway point, and anything below the halfway point, after bouncing around above it, is typically headed for a crash. But look at what it does. It comes up to retest the halfway point. You have a head fake out on the RSI, and then a major crash. Okay, and this crash lasted from 10th of May and bottomed out. It bottomed out on 19th of May. But because it went down so fast, if you didn't have a pre-entered take profit, the exchanges were so locked up you couldn't even get in them to get your profit out. Okay, so if you didn't have already predetermined take profit, then you couldn't get out until it was already back up in here. So your best attempt would have been to weather the storm as it went up and either got out here or weathered the storm again and got out here. Either way, look at all, this is the entry point, okay? This is your entry point. Look at all the tiers of profit you still would have had, right? You still would have had several tier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost, well, you can count that. So 7 tiers of profit. So I hope this was really helpful to everybody tonight. I can't stay on super long tonight because I do have responsibilities in the morning, right? And what is a man if he doesn't take care of his responsibilities? What do I think of XRP? I had some on the sideline based on historical pumpage, and I just continue DCAing into it. I continue DCAing into it. I come from the BB community, so I have a fed up sense of humor. Well, last call outs, welcome in. And please make sure, um, last call outs, if you haven't already, take time to check out um, my actual posted videos, not just my lives, but my actual posted content where I mean, I spent hours, days, and a couple weeks doing all sorts of research to, for instance, to let people know that the wick off wasn't being not only drawn properly, but they weren't shilling. They were shilling you part of the chart, not the whole chart. Um, Showing where there was no proof of the price action that they were pumping to people. Okay, on this channel, you're gonna learn the truth, and I know some people don't like the truth, but um, I, I just will not lie to you guys. Okay. I don't care if a sponsor threw $500,000 at me. It's not worth it, me making $500,000 to you guys losing everything. I would never do that. Hey, no, man. It's all last calls. Hey, look, I love humor in the chat, right? You guys are the only thing I hate in chat is spam or like bots. Okay. You guys, as long as it's respectful, okay, you guys are free to clown in the comment section. Hell, you can clown me if you want to. Yeah, Joseph, I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you. Abdul, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate you. So, of course, over the next couple days, I'll be working hard to no, 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 no. Last call outs. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Trust me, you're fine. Well, at one point he was showing it on the daily. Then he started showing it on like the 6 hour. Then he was showing it on the 4 hour. the it, it has nothing to do with price action, right? The original with coffee and logic was based on logic. That's why it's called the with coffee and logic, right? It was to show how institutional level investors used logic to cause retail investors to react emotionally. And so my mountain based theory is based on the truth of the wick off, not what it does to Bitcoin's price. Does that make sense why I used it for my theory? Okay. And my theory has been battle tested, several bull runs, multiple coins, and there's no data out there right now that can refute the theory. So I'll show you what I mean by using logic and to cause emotional response. Whale logic, retail response. Whale logic, retail response. Whale logic, retail response. Okay? Action, reaction. Action, reaction. Action, reaction. Okay? The whales got in. Let me see. Take that back. Okay? The whales got in here. Okay. All right. Hey, Bitcoin's going to $500,000 retail. Oh my God, we can't miss out. We got to get into this. Ah, that was easy, guys. Let's get some more. Hey, buddies, you guys want in too? Yeah, we want in too. All right, let's get in. We pile in here. Hey, Bitcoin's going to $1,000,000, everybody. Oh man, we don't want to miss out. Let's dump it on them. Hey, everybody, Bitcoin is going to crash. Oh my God, we got to get out too. I know it's a hilarious way to look at it, but it's the most simplified way I can break it down of how the whales use logic to trigger emotional response in retail investors. Yes, last call outs. You're right. You're right. So I hope everybody, again, as usual, was able to find something helpful tonight. If you weren't, please let me know, and I'll work my best to make sure that everybody finds something helpful in the content. Okay. I showed you guys my trend trading strategy and how I combine it to use it with RSI. I showed you guys just pure RSI trading strategy. I also showed you guys why the breakdown happened the other day due to the phenomenon. Okay. I also went over triggered emotional responses. Okay. I hope that I was able to help somebody tonight. That's the goal every night, is to be able to hopefully help somebody. So again, thank you for coming. Mystic Rick is out. Go get those gains. And wherever you are, please be safe. Much love and respect.
Let it go, make my body go, make our bodies high.